Vendor reconciliation is the process of matching and verifying transactions between a company's internal records and vendor statements, ensuring that both parties are on the same page. In this video, we will dive into the world of vendor reconciliation, exploring its importance, best practices, and practical examples. With companies increasingly focusing on financial accuracy and compliance, professionals with vendor reconciliation skills are in high demand, making it a valuable asset in the finance department. Hello friends, this is Satya and today I'm going to talk about vendor reconciliation and I'm going to give you a lot of examples so that you can understand from the scratch how to prepare a vendor reconciliation. If you are new to the channel or have not subscribed to my channel, I request you to subscribe to this channel. Let's get started. Let's start with a simple question. Why is vendor reconciliation prepared? What is the need of that? So I'm going to give you an example so that you can connect and understand that why a vendor reconciliation is required. For example, there is a company named Sun Limited and there is a company named Star Limited. And Sun Limited is a manufacturer of car and Star Limited is a manufacturer of tires. So definitely for manufacturing of cars, Sun Limited required tires. So Sun Limited made an agreement with Star Limited to buy tires. Now let's see what are the details of the agreement. So Sun Limited ordered 1 lakh tires to be supplied throughout the year. So it is an annual contract. Sun Limited wants 1 lakh of tire. Payment terms is 30 days. That means once you receive the material, from that day, within 30 days, Sun Limited has to make payment to Star Limited. Interest at the rate of 1000 per month applicable for delay in payment. So if there is a delay in payment, then Star Limited is going to charge Sun Limited 1000 rupees per month for the delay. Now coming to the price per tire, it is 1000 rupees per tire and there is a condition attached. What is the condition? If rubber price increases, Star Limited will increase the tire price by rupees 100. So this is the condition. Now, why Sun Limited require a vendor reconciliation? Who is the vendor here for Sun Limited? It is Star Limited. But why Sun Limited should do a reconciliation with Star Limited statement? Here is the reason. Sun Limited will prepare the vendor reconciliation every month to identify unaccounted invoices. That means, are there an invoice which Sun Limited has not accounted, but Star Limited has supplied the material? B. Goods in transit. If the goods are in transit and not yet reached by the factory of Sun Limited, then Sun Limited need to account that as goods in transit. C. Short payment. D. Non-accounting of credit notes. In the previous slide, we understood that Sun Limited need to do reconciliation every month to find out the discrepancies. Now question arises, why balance with vendor books doesn't match? So I am going to give you 2 to 3 practical example where you will understand that why there is discrepancies between supplier books or vendor books with the company's internal records. So let's take the first example. 500 tires supplied by Star Limited during June 2025, but 100 tires not yet received by Sun Limited as on 30th June. The goods are in transit. 400 tires were invoiced on 12th June and received by Sun Limited on 17th June. 100 tires were invoiced on 29th June 2025. So what has happened in this case? Sun Limited has received only first batch of tire, that is 400 tires, whereas the second batch, that is 100 tires, which was supplied on 29th June by Star Limited, as on 30th June, the same has not yet received at the factory. So Sun Limited has not recorded. Now let's see how the both statement looks like, the vendor statement and the company's internal record, and then we'll see that how to do the reconciliation and what entry to be posted. So let's see Star Books. So Star Limited will show as customer because Sun Limited is the customer for Star Limited. And in Star Limited books, you can find two invoice. One is on 12 June, one is on 29th June, and both amounts to 5 lakhs, 400 plus 100 tires, 500 tires. Whereas in case of Sun Limited, you can find that Sun Limited has recorded only the first batch, that is for the 400 tires. The second batch is not recorded because Sun Limited has not received the material. Hence, Sun Limited has not recorded that. Now on 30th June, when Sun Limited will do the reconciliation, definitely there will be a difference because Star Limited will share the statement where it will show a receivable of 5 lakhs, whereas Sun Limited is showing only payable of 4 lakhs. So how the reconciliation will look like? So in the reconciliation, purchase of 400 tires, 4 lakh is already there in Sun Limited. Sun Limited will add one more line adjustment, that is goods in transit of 1 lakh, and the total payable to Star Limited will become 5 lakh, which will match with the statement of Star Limited. So this is how the reconciliation need to be prepared. But this goods in transit is recognized in the books only when Sun Limited returns the risks associated with the product in line with IFRS 15 or Ind AS 115. That means if the goods are in transit and the risk on those goods are with Sun Limited as per the contract, then only Sun Limited can record as goods in transit. But if the contract says that Star Limited should take the risk on the goods till it is received by Sun Limited in the factory, then the risk on those goods remains with Star Limited. Actually, as per IFRS 15, if the risk is still with the Star Limited should reverse the last 100 tires invoice because it is still under his control. The control has not passed to the buyer. But in general cases, most of the buyer they take the risk from the factory gate of the supplier as X work contract. So in this case, if it is X work, then Sun Limited is going to account this as goods in transit. And what accounting entry to be posted? It is goods in transit debit to Star Limited credit. Now let's take the second example. Sun Limited made payment for 400 tires purchased to Star Limited on 30th July, but it is delayed by 18 days. But Star Limited has not yet accounted as on 31st July. Prepare vendor reconciliation as on 31st July. So what has happened in this scenario? Sun Limited has made payment for the first batch, but it is a delayed payment. What is the payment term? It should be within 30 days, but here there is a delay by 18 days. But Star Limited, even though received this money, but has not recorded against this invoice in his books. So how the books looks now? So Sun Limited, if you see, 17th June, purchase of 400 tires. 3rd July, purchase of 100 tires. So 5 lakh is payable. And on 30th July 2025 is making the payment of 4 lakh rupees. And net payable to Star Limited is 1 lakh. Whereas what is happening in Star Limited books, you can see the two invoices are still shown as receivable from Sun Limited because the 4 lakh rupees paid by Sun Limited to Star Limited is still not accounted by Star Limited. Now here, when Sun Limited will prepare the vendor reconciliation, it will start with balance outstanding of 1 lakh rupees. To match with Star Limited books, Sun Limited will add an adjustment saying that payment not yet accounted by Star Limited. That is 4 lakh rupees and total is 5 lakh. Now question arises whether I need to adjust in Sun Limited books. The answer is no. Accounting entry not to be posted as the payment has been released and Star Limited need to account the payment because Sun Limited has released the payment. Now because of reconciliation doesn't mean that I will reverse that, right? Because the bank balance will not go up by reversing that. Payment has already been released. So in this case, Sun Limited should inform Star Limited stating that you have not accounted the bank payment. So please account it so that you show 1 lakh and I show 1 lakh in the books of accounts. Now let's see the third reason. Star Limited accounted the payment on 2nd August. So in the previous slide, we saw that as of 31st July, the entry was not posted, but it is recorded now on 2nd of August. However, as the payment was delayed by 18 days, Star Limited issued a debit note dated 4th August towards interest, and that is 500 rupees. Sun Limited has not accounted the same as on 31st August. Meanwhile, the rubber price increased with effective from 15th of July. Hence, Star Limited issued a supplementary invoice dated 29th August for rupees 10,000. And as per the contract, 100 rupees will be charged for each tire. So here 100 tires was sold after 15th of July. Hence, Star Limited is charging 10,000 rupees. But Sun Limited has not received the invoice as on 31st August. Prepare vendor reconciliation as on 31st August. So in this case, you see there are two cases happening. One is the debit note for interest, which is not accounted by Sun Limited, and there is a supplementary invoice which is not accounted by Sun Limited. Now let's see how the reconciliation will look like. So if you see the statement of Star Limited, in addition to the first three line item, there are two new item. That is 4th August, debit note interest 500 rupees, and there is a supplementary invoice of 10,000. So total outstanding from customer or from Sun Limited is 1,10,500. But what is reported in Sun Limited? Under Sun Limited, it is only 1 lakh rupees which is outstanding because payment made 4 lakh. However, payment for the 100 tires still not made. Now, as on 31st August, when Sun Limited will prepare the reconciliation, it will start with balance outstanding 1 lakh and add two invoices, or you can say one debit note and one invoice, which is not yet recorded by Sun Limited. That is 500 rupees towards interest for late payment. And there is a supplementary invoice for 10,000. Now, if you add 500 plus 10,000 plus 1 lakh, 1 lakh 10,500 matches with the balance shown by Star Limited. So this is how the reconciliation has to be prepared. Now question arises, what accounting entries Sun Limited is going to post as on 31st August to match with Star Limited balances? So in case of interest, interest will be accounted as a financial charge and credit will be given to Star Limited. But when it comes to supplementary invoice, it is accounted as cost of goods sold if the inventory is consumed, or else it will be loaded to the inventory cost. So Sun Limited has to identify whether the inventory has been consumed. If it is consumed, then it will be loaded to cost of goods sold because it has been consumed and it has been billed to the customer. But if it is not consumed, then this money, supplementary invoice cost, will be loaded to the inventory cost, and whenever it will be consumed at that time, it will be part of cost of goods sold. Hope you have understood the practical scenarios how the reconciliation is prepared between the company's record and the vendor statement. Now to make it more easier, I'm going to explain what are the steps to be followed for the vendor reconciliation. So follow the below steps for vendor reconciliation. First, collect the statement from the vendor. Second, reconcile each line item between your statement with the vendor statement. Identify the reasons for discrepancies. Identify what accounting entries to be posted for all discrepancies. So here one point I want to tell you that for each line item, there should not be a accounting entry. Like we had one case where we have made payment but the vendor has not accounted. In that case, the vendor need to do adjustment. It doesn't mean that for every differences we have to account it. Next, ask vendor to account if any line item not correctly accounted by the vendor. For example, like TDS deducted but not accounted by vendor. In that case, you can't reverse the TDS, right? Because you have deducted and paid to the government. So it is the vendor who need to correct his books. And at last, send a vendor confirmation every quarter for major vendors along with reconciliation and get it acknowledged from the vendor. So that whenever you face audit, it will be easier for you to convince your auditors saying that you have got the confirmation. So that's it from my side. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other practical scenario where you find to do the vendor reconciliation in the right way, let me know in the comment box. I'll help you out. So that's it from my side. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, request you to subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friend if you like it. Thank you.